Yeah. So, life is a give and take. It's that place where what you want, you give it, right? And you can be deliberate about it. If you want friendship, all you have to do is be a friend to somebody. People stay and they're praying and fasting for friends to come your way. I mean, God in heaven is laughing at you because those are things that you don't need to pray about. There are things you can do to get it, right? God can enable you. You can pray for the priest, but not pray for friends to come, right? The only way to get friends is to be a friend. The only way to get more is to give. You cannot pray for, I laugh at a lot of these fake false prophets that pray for people, about, oh, you're going to be rich, you're not going to be poor again. All of those are film tricks, magic, stupidity. These are not people going to heaven. They don't know God, right? Because the only way to get more is to give. Right? It's a sowing and reaping. It has nothing to do with prayer. Yes, prayer in terms of to enable you as you are doing it, but you must do the work, right? You must do the work. Yeah.
I think the definition is just what you said. It encompasses all, and most people don't understand it, that work is the meaning that you want to get more, you need to give more. Giving doesn't necessarily mean giving more. It actually means working towards what you want.
Absolutely.
For you now, I've been languishing and planning to start doing stock stuff, and I've not been doing anything, to do that. It might mean to give them more, spend money, buy resources, read more, study more, ask people, consult people, all that. And those are the work I can do to be able to increase my proficiency in doing that.
Absolutely.
People will go and be praying for God to infuse the knowledge into their mind and their hearts. So it will work.
Yeah. So, they've been praying for forever, and none of them is getting rich. Only the pastor is getting rich. They're giving offerings. Our pastor is getting rich, is buying a jet, but they're ever still poor congregants, right? Because they're being led astray, right? There are ways of the kingdom. It's not by being foolish, right? And so I love this statement here by Brendan Butcher. He's had a life, a near-death experience, so that changed his life, and most of what he does comes from that experience. And he says that at the end of life, when all is said and done, there are three questions you need to answer. Did I live? Did I live? A lot of us are not living. A lot of us are just passive. A lot of people that go to all of this prayer, temple, all of these things, they're just being passive. Forever for the same thing. Yes, they are hearing testimony. It's happening for others, but it's not happening for them. So they are always still a hope, right? Nobody's telling them the truth. Even the people that tell them the truth, they are not ready to accept, because their whole mind is, if they don't pray and hit their head against the wall, they don't feel satisfied, But they're just simple principles of life that they just need to imbibe. But they look so simple to them that they ignore them. They want something that they have to fast for 40 years before they get. And that pains me, because sometimes you call sessions where you can tell people the truth and they won't come. They'll rather go to that man that is shouting, right, where they hear about other people's miracle and they never get their own, than hear you speak simple English for something for them to do. Now,
some people were talking about how their pastor speaks is the best English. He teaches people English, not just the word of God in Nigeria and all that. And I'm kind of, your pastor may have gotten either divinity PhD or real one, I don't know. And he chooses to what he's doing. When we learn the basis of marketing and sales, we are taught something about the niche market. You know your niche market, you know the strategy to catch them. It's basically what those guys are doing. I remember growing up, the way we know pastors, they are so lowly people, they are so cool, they don't show off. In fact, when you see a pastor, that's why that word we always hear as poor as church rats, because they want to mimic the life of Christ. that life of lowliness, where somebody can be able to fit in anywhere, either as a servant or as a leader, if elevated. But now we have people who are already God trying to teach us about God and telling us, the way they are living is actually how God is trying to, somebody is telling me that I should eat the best food, drive the best house, own and fly because I belong to the Son of the living God who owns everything. Anyway, I don't want to go into all that. But unfortunately, there are some people you will see, you feel they know better than you, and they are easily sold to the lies and deceit of this ones.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that make people easily sold off is because they wait till they're desperate. When a man is in desperation, he can almost do anything, but that's because you have lost time. Right? The best time to prepare for war is in a time of peace. But people wait. They don't do anything until when they're in crisis. And when you're in crisis, you're almost looking for anything to give you immediate solution. But that is the worst thing you can ever look for. Because that's the time anybody can tell you to do almost anything. So all these people that lie on the floor and someone is climbing on top of them,
oh
or
my God,
their vagina, or someone is saying that, all of those stupid things they do, because they are meeting people that are desperate. You see, this happen in poverty-stricken areas because the people are in desperation. So almost the spirit of fear is controlling them, so they can do almost anything.
Uncle Akin, if I tell you a part of my life, you'll be shocked because I've never been moved. People that are better than me get moved and rattled, and I don't get moved. Why? Because I believe that life is nothing to do with either how long you stay on earth, your education, your position in the office, or what have you. It's about how it is. There's really no direction, no definition in life, because at the end of the day, in the words of Solomon, the wisest king and possibly the richest king, he said that everything is vanity.
Absolutely.
Everything is vanity. Absolutely. Because if it's so good and things are so good, some of the guys that are rich will never die.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Unfortunately, they do die. We all are going to die, And the older you get, that reality hits you the more, right? It's
we can't even do anything about it because no matter how far you try to run yourself, stay 200 years under, what do they call it again? Under what do you call it? Life support machine. There'll be a time when they will say, look, enough of this. The people that are even doing that, there is still money to still fire on. And they say, man, I think it's time to just let this guy go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was a billionaire that died earlier on this year. Has a lot of Rolls Royce, stays in, I think, in London. But you know how
I know the guy.
Yeah, they couldn't find a bed for him.
Is it the Fernandez or one of those,
Yeah, something like that. They couldn't find a bed for him, even though they paid hundreds of thousands. First of all, that tells me of how he lived this life. Because I'm not as rich as him. If I need a bed, there are people that would throw other people out of bed and give me a bed.
Exactly.
They will kick other people. A bed will surface even if there is food. Someone will go and find a bed. It's all about what you are doing with your life.
Exactly.
Right? When you affected people's life, they will die for you. They will create for you out of nothing, not because of what you have. So if someone is a billionaire and they can't find bed for him, it says that he's not a good person.
Yeah.
Then I started asking, where are the schools that he built? Where are the hospitals that he built? No, nobody could tell me of that. That tells me he wasn't rich. He was a very poor man.
Yeah. Your Chevron in the opposite way. One day we unfortunately met together, all the way from checking in, although we were on different flights, checking in. He was going to Canada, me, I was coming to US. He was surprised that even at the immigration thing, that the guys knew me, the way they talked to me, and as we were passing all the way, in fact, I had to follow him to the lounge. And then we went to the lounge. He was like, how did you know? He had to even buy me drinks and everything that day. I said, look, I make friends.
Yep.
I would say I don't really have friends as such. Because everybody's feeling that either they are rich or they are making money, they are bosses and all that. So, which I don't really subscribe to.
All that's going to end one day. I mean, people are going to leave. Either the company will leave them or they will leave the company. And then the reality will dawn on them.
Yeah. But that's life. That's life. That's why some people said, please forgive me for whatever I've done. So it means that you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, that those are chicken excuses. I mean, those are wicked people as far as I'm concerned. They're miseries of the devil. Yeah.
Anyway, let me not sidetrack you. Let's continue, sir.
Yeah. Those three questions are important. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? I mean, those are the core of our lives, right? We're here to live. We need to know our purpose. By the time I'm done, I should be able to check and tick the box. Did I live? Yes. Whose life did I have? Who's gonna be sad to see me go? You have to tick that, and for me to tick that, I have to decide that today. I already have things written down for what I want on my dying day, what I want important people in my life to say about me. So I live every day to make that happen. I mean, it's not going to happen to me by chance because I already know the way I want to leave this place. Every day I live is to achieve what I've already set as a goal, right? So I don't live anyhow. I don't just go to any place. I don't go to just any meeting. I don't associate with just anybody. Me, I love people, but I don't give my time for everybody. My time has to achieve what I've already set for myself. I want to achieve when my time here is done, because it's going to be done one day, whether I like it or not. So therefore, I need to plan for it, So we all need to do the same.
Yeah.
And the main focus in all of this, for all this chapter really is to be a blessing to people. The way we get is the way we, right? Whatever we want, we also want people to help people to actualize themselves also, which is part of what we're doing here, discussing all of this to help ourselves actualize, and hopefully other people that will listen to this on YouTube can learn one thing or the other, which will make their own lives better also, and it goes and affects every area of our life, really. It's like Amy was talking about here, what she did for employees. As she does that for their employees, it also reflects in our company. Me in Chevron, and all I do, let me not say anything about that. Let me talk about my business now. I do have a farm also, and I do have employees on my farm, and I don't. What I've told them, is really to relate as a family, right? I did have an MD, the technical manager, but I had an MD who could not change. I mean, even though I told her I wanted the company to run, just like the way I relate to her, I wanted her to relate with the technical manager who was supposed to be working for her. But somehow she couldn't get off the mode of being bossy, and I had to let her go, because I'm not going to run the company, with any other spirit. And Jim Collins tells you that if you have to manage an employee, then you have the wrong employee, right? You want to employ the right people who can imbibe the culture you're trying to build. If someone is having problem with the culture, then it's probably not the right fit, and this person was not the right fit. So I had to let her go. But it's all about building, and it's all about giving what you want. That's the whole idea of life as a whole. I don't know what else to say on that. It just affects every area of our life, and let me run it back to just the last one here, and we can talk about this on every area of life. It's I'm just trying to, everything you give, you get back. I do a prayer meeting here during the weekdays, right? I would do a prayer meeting Mondays to Fridays. You know, when I first started, I didn't know exactly the fullness or the reason for doing it, but God wanted me to. It was a carryover of what I did with my wife in the private place, now do public. That has been a blessing to have started it, because what I'm doing has been more of a blessing, a life and death uh, difference for me as a person, not even to any other person, because I pray much more than I would typically would pray in a private place. I'm the convener, so I'm the one standing in front, you know. But the need to do it because I have to meet up for the schedule keeps me doing it. If it was just private, I can easily do it with sometimes, you know, excuse myself.
Mm. Mm.
But because it's public, I have to do it because it's a commitment, right? So that keeps me doing it on a regular basis. But it's been a life and death saver for me as a person, right? I've gone through health challenge that this has carried me through, and every other thing, you know, a lot of other things are going on in my life, you know, even having to do this farm, you know, the amount of money I'm putting into it, prayer makes a lot of difference, you know, because I'm human. Having to pump so much money into something, you know, there's the possible concern about, am I doing the right thing and all of that, you know, but being able to pray about it, you know, has been a good balance for me, you know. And so I more like started it almost like for other people, but it's been a blessing, a great blessing for me as a person, you know, and a good foundation to do 1,001 other things that God is bringing my way.
Mm.
Yeah. But I need all is just a summary, just to have at the back of our mind that life is give and receive.